Let's get started. So, we've had 4 conversations about this energy. So, let me do a quick run through before I leave you with something to think about and something to do. First, we met the she knows when to speak energy. And we're all in this energy right now as I'm recording this. Everybody has access to this energy. And then some people have access to the energy all the time because it's part of their being. But the she knows when to speak energy is this energy of discernment over volume, of sort of knowing when to speak versus blah, 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 blah all the time, that kind of thing. So, of timing over frequency. It's a voice that says, I'll speak when it matters. And when I do, it's going to be worth hearing. So we moved from that and we met the Miss Cranky Pants version of She Knows When to Speak. And we met 2 versions of the Cranky Pants energy. There's a pushing version that forces the words out before they're ready and then spends the next day or however many hours replaying what they meant to say, what should have been said. And then there's the holding back version that waits past the moment because they're just sort of holding back and they're watching the conversation move on. And then they just never respond or say anything because they didn't feel they had the perfect response. And then they think of it at, 3:00 in the morning or something like that, long after the moment was present. It's just way too late. And that is really frustrating when that happens. Pretty much everybody has had that happen at some point in time. Some people, again, have access to this energy all the time, and they might be in that cranky energy of it. So after we talked about the Cranky Pants version of She Knows When to Speak, we talked about what this energy is like in everyday life when it's not cranky. So it's not the loudest voice in the room or the most precise one. It becomes the energy of the person whose words have weight because they had time to settle before they were spoken. And it's felt along with heard. So that was the everyday life energy of She Knows When to Speak. And then we met the inner saint version of She Knows When to Speak. This is that highest, best version of you. And the inner saint version of She Knows When to Speak is the one who has made peace. They're okay with staying silent. And they understand that, waiting for the right moment to speak is never about weakness. That for She Knows When to Speak, for that, a person with that energy, preparation is key. It's frankly everything. The words, when they finally arrive, can move people in ways that rushed in a hurry words never could move them. So I have a question that's kind of worth giving some thought to. Where in your life right now are you either pushing yourself to speak before you're ready or holding back past the point where your voice was needed? And what would it look like to trust the timing just a little more today than you did 3 days ago? And here's a small next step if you want to play with this a little bit. The next time something important's hanging with you and the words aren't quite there yet, give it just a little more time, maybe a day before you say it. Not that you're avoiding it, just to let it settle. And notice what comes out when you stop trying to force it. See how that feels. And now there's new energy coming in to the collective. Well, we're all going to be feeling this. And this energy is an energy that's very close to my heart because I have consistent access to it. And it is a big part of who I am, of the energy that makes up me. So I know this energy well. This is an energy that's about the full range of what it means to be human, about loving people in their best moments and also in their most complicated and challenging moments, about finding the whole spectrum of life truly fascinating, not just exhausting. So it's time that everybody's going to get to meet the you were made for the full spectrum, not just the pretty parts energy. And that's coming up in the next Daily Dose. Until then, find your happy, love what you do, make a difference. Come back to me safely. See ya.